Hi and welcome back to BookTube with Amy. This is going to be another Try That Trope vlog. So the trope that we are trying out this week is going to be second chance romance, and this has been another one that's been requested by my sister. So Megan sent me Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren to use for this vlog, so this is going to be the one that I start with. We have childhood friends who were each other's first relationship. They split up, it doesn't work out, they go their separate ways, and our main female character is in the middle of planning her wedding to her current fiance when her old boyfriend comes back into her life again. And so I guess it's going to be like a wee bit of a love triangle situation maybe, but she'll need to decide on where she is going to go and who she is going to be with. And then I'm going to pair that with Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You?, which I have been like so buzzing to read. Sally Rooney has been hit and miss for me so far. Loved Normal People, it ripped my entire heart out and would happily let it do it again. And then I wasn't a huge fan of Conversations with Friends, but I think I might give that another go, because Scott for Gunpowder Fiction and Plot raves about that all the time, and like my gripe is that I just don't really like books that are about cheating, so like I didn't ship any of the relationships, but he was like, if you go into it with the mindset that they're all arseholes, like, and you're not really supposed to ship any of the relationships, then it's just quite an interesting character piece. So I might go into it with that mindset as opposed to thinking it's like a romance like what Normal People was. So this is going to be like a make or break book, I guess, for me and Sally Rooney to decide whether or no I will continue reading her books. So this one, we have our main character Alice, and she meets a guy called Felix, and they decide that they're going to be going travelling together, but then she is also talking to this guy Simon, who she has known since she was a kid, and they've always sort of had a wee bit of a flirtationship, and so I guess this is going to be the same. Simon's going to like come back into her life and she's going to have to decide what route she is going to go down. So sort of similar premises, and I guess we'll just see how we go on. I'm going to start with Christina Lauren. I have started this today, but like I am that far in to like give you an update yet. I'll probably update you later on today when I've read a wee bit more. I'm a wee bit dubious going into the Christina Lauren one because I so hated The Unhoneymooners. But in fairness to Christina Lauren, what I've listened to so far of this one seems to be like a completely different style for how The Unhoneymooners was written. So I might actually go on with this one a wee bit more. And my sister told me that she thinks that this one's dual perspective, which is something that I was missing for The Unhoneymooners. So we'll see how we go with that. So I have been listening and reading to this a wee bit today, not a huge amount. So I'm only like 8 to 9 pages in. But I have to say, like, I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I'm enjoying this so far. It doesn't read at all like The Unhoneymooners. Like, if I didn't know that that was also a Christina Lauren book and I picked this up, I would have no idea that they were written by the same author. The writing style is completely different, and this hasn't done anything to like properly piss me off so far, which is good. I actually quite like the characters in this, and that was something that I found with The Unhoneymooners, was I just didn't connect to anybody, so like I just didn't really care and I didn't buy into their romance, whereas I actually quite like the characters in here. Is it Macy? Aye, Macy and Elliot. I do quite like them. It's not annoying me yet, but I think that it might. So something has happened in their past, and we know that they haven't spoken in 10 years, but we don't know what that thing is yet. And if it keeps hinting at that and we're not going to find out what that is until the end of the book, then that's just going to scunner me, because we know that is a theme. I just don't like that at all. Like, I want to know what is happening for the get-go. So I guess we'll see how we go with that, but I am connected to them so far and I'm invested, so I'm excited to see how things go. The only thing I guess that's bugging me slightly about this is that Macy is like engaged to be married at this point, and like she's spoken to me a bit about how she's not really sure if the guy she's marrying is properly into her, or like if he's just in it because his daughter suggested that they get married, and so he was like, there's an idea, and like it's the next natural step in their relationship, more than he's like totally in love with her and really wants to marry her. And as soon as she saw Elliot again, she was like, oh, like, I'm in love with him and I probably always will be, probably always have been. Like, and that's fine, but then also probably shouldn't have agreed to like marry somebody. And like, she has, like, nothing inappropriate has happened, right? Like, her and Elliot legitimately bumped into each other, but she was like rushing out of the apartment so that she didn't need to see her fiance because she just didn't want to talk about it. And I get maybe wanting some headspace and like sorting out your thoughts and everything like before then talking to your partner about something, but also like I just find that a bit weird. Like, and she's like, oh, I haven't told him about Elliot at all, even though he was like my first love and I probably should have. And I just don't like, I guess, like the deception, and so I think I'll find that a wee bit to get over if, you know, she doesn't break things off with her fiance soon. Like I say, nothing inappropriate has happened, nothing whatsoever, not even a kiss, maybe a wee stolen glance and some reminiscing, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable if that was Simon, and so I don't feel like that should be allowed. But we'll see how we go, I guess. I'm probably not going to get much more read tonight, so we'll catch up with these tomorrow when I've read a wee bit more. Hello, so I'm actually at page 283. I read like a full chunk of this. I didn't even realise I had read as much as I had. So surprisingly, I'm really enjoying this. I really like Elliot. I think that he is just lovely. And I'm liking Macy so far as well. The only thing that's bugging me a wee bit is, you know, the fact that, like I had said in my last clip, is that she was still sort of engaged. This got resolved pretty early on, I think. And, you know, her fiance was also of the mindset, like, this isn't really working and this is just going to be like a convenience thing for company and sex. He wasn't in the least bit distraught, which I was pleased about because that really annoys me. However, it's left on a wee bit of a cliffhanger where I finished up to, and so we've just found out that Elliot, his girlfriend that he broke up with, that we were led to believe wasn't serious, and he broke up with her as soon as Macy came back onto the scene. They were actually together for 5 years and we didn't really know what has happened there, so quite a fair few cliffhangers. It's no dual perspective. Megan had says that she thought this was dual perspective, but I actually am the minding that because it's going forwards and backwards in time, so we're getting like them as youngsters and as their relationship is developing, and then it's jumping to present day, so it's still quite refreshing and it's keeping me engaged with it. I'm just like, right, I need to know now what happened in the past that made you no talk for 10 years. I need to know now like what sort of happened with her dad, and I need to know now like what has happened with Elliot and his life and his relationship, I guess. So still quite a few unanswered questions at the moment, and I know that that normally absolutely pisses me off. This isn't absolutely pissing me off. I think because I'm so invested in the characters and I'm quite invested in their relationship that it just isn't annoying me as much as it usually would, which I guess is good. There hasn't been any comments in this book that's made me feel uncomfortable in terms of weight, because I know that was a big deal with me with the Honeymooners, but I am surprisingly thoroughly enjoying this so far, and have been enjoying geek texting my sister my thoughts. I didn't really know what could have caused such a massive fallout to no talk to somebody for 10 years. There's been this sort of other girl in the scene, like back when they were younger, that Elliot's sort of been seeing and has like kissed on and off and fooled around with a wee bit, and so I don't know if maybe like he just decides to be with her, or if there's maybe been like a miscommunication somewhere. I didn't really know, but also like, we know Elliot has fucked up and that's why they didn't talk for 10 years, and he said like, we had a fallout, like can we talk about it, blah blah blah. But then Macy has says like, but he only knows his side of things, like I messed up too. So then I'm interested to know what she has done as well, and also like if you fucked it also, then like why would you not tell him and be a dick to him for 10 years? So I guess I'm excited to see how it finishes. I'm getting a wee bit dubious because like, there's not a lot of book left and still quite a lot of story to tell, I feel, so I hope that is wrapped up well. That's my current concerns, so I will get back to you when I have more thoughts. I don't know if I'm going to do any more reading today or if it'll be tomorrow, but you'll see me at some point in the near future. Hello! So, I have finished Love in Other Words. and I have a fair few thoughts. So I really enjoyed this book, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this book. The writing style feels completely different for the Unhoneymooners. This feels a lot more mature in a lot of regards, which I appreciated, and it felt like it was more focused on like love. I bought into the relationship a lot more than I bought into the relationship in the other Christina Lauren book. So she's maybe an author that I would give a chance in the future if a book premise sounded up my street. So the things that I liked about this, I really enjoyed the characters. I've said in my previous clips, like I really felt connected to them, and I didn't feel like I connected to any of the side characters really only our main two, but like that's fine. You know, if I connect to a side character then it's going to be a 5-star. If I don't, then you know it's going to be lower, but no by much. I really enjoyed the amount of book references in here, and I thought like the whole what's your favourite word thing that Elliot did every single time we are was like really cute and really adorable, and I liked seeing their relationship blossom. What I didn't like so much, and like I sort of have, I guess, left with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, like what I was with the Unhoneymooners, is I just feel like there's a bit of a shitty message. So like this is gonna, I say this every time, but this entire vlog is spoilers, so like do listen, but this is your official 80th warning. So we have been waiting this entire time to find out why Elliot and Macy haven't spoken in 10 years. And there's this other girl on the scene that Elliot has sort of been like back and forth with. They've kissed a few times, they went to prom together in like their past storyline. And I had says to my sister, like, I've got a feeling that he's cheated with this Emma girl, and if he has, like, I'll be raging. And I was bang on the money. So he did, he cheated, and Macy, like, rushed to, like, see him and found him, like, naked with this other lassie all over him, and she wasn't pleased. And so she patched him, didn't talk to him, whatever. No quite, but we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, I felt like when they finally spoke about the cheating, it was a bit gaslighty, to be honest with you. So they're at his brother's wedding and they end up sleeping together, and so they decide like now is probably a good time to broach the whole drama and you know why we haven't spoke in 10 years. And I think it's a wee bit ridiculous that they decided to have sex first, but fine, whatever. The book is quite smutty, didn't really enjoy that aspect to it, but fine. So anyway, they've just fucked each other outside at a wedding, right? Standard behaviour. And they've now decided that this is the appropriate time and place to have this big emotional heart-to-heart that has been drawn out for the entire book. And he just is a total fucking dickhead about it. So she's like, I came up, like, you know, you were steaming on the phone, telling me you wanted me to be there, like, I drove to be with you, make sure you were alright, and, like, you were with some other lassie, these were both naked, she was aware of you, I was pissed, and I left. And like, then she starts like saying to him like, aye, and on the night, like, obviously I didn't text Dad, and so Dad knew there was something up with me and he rushed to me, and then like when he was trying to find out what was happening while we were in the car, that's when the car crash happened and her dad died. And so she had assumed that like he would have found out that her dad died and maybe had tried to reach out at that point, and he didn't. And he messaged her about the whole like cheating thing, and she just didn't ever get back to him. And she says herself like she didn't handle the situation properly. The whole him cheating and her dad dying became like a bit of a convoluted issue because they were like intertwined and it happened all at the same time, and she just didn't really know how to deal with it, which is fine, and she held her hands up and admitted her mistake. But his cheating excuse was such a fucking cop-out and was basically just like, I didn't remember sleeping with her, like I remember sleeping with you, so in my head like whatever happened with her was you. And she's just like, right. And he gets like a bit aggro about it because she's just like, that's pish, like whatever, you shouldn't have got yourself into that state, blah blah blah. And so he starts like fucking chain drinking champagne because they're at this wedding and becoming like a total fucking twat and asks her to leave the wedding, so she does. And like his attitude's just fucking stinking, and it's a bit gaslighty because she's like but you've cheated. Like, I appreciate in your head, like, fine, you've says that, but you've still cheated. And he's just like, well, you fucked me up so much because you didn't talk to me in 10 years, blah blah blah. And like, I maybe cheated, but it was you in my head and you didn't even give me a chance to explain. And like, I couldn't be intimate with any other lassie for such a long time after it because like, you fucked it for me, basically. And I was like, no, hold on, pal, like, you fucked it for yourself. You literally fucked it for yourself because you fucked that other girl. So dinna use your pish. Like, and then that whole, like, his attitude and his feeling towards it, it's just never addressed. They have like a bit of a reconciliation scene because she goes back to the place that they own, which is like next door to his parents' house, and you know, she hasn't been back there since her dad died, and she decides that this is the night she's going to go back. And so then when they go back to his family's home after the wedding, he realises there's a light on, so he's like, oh fuck, like, I better go check on her. And like, they have a reconciliation, and then for their own they decide to get together, and like, we get no time with them together, like try to work out any of these issues, which would have been a really interesting dynamic to have seen. It's just like, right, and then they go together, and then they live together, and then that's where the book ends. And like, I was just fucked off about it because I feel like that just sends the completely wrong message. And we have a wee bit of Macy's internal monologue, and she's like, oh, I guess it's like the intent that's important, like, and he never intended to hurt me, so like, it's fine. And so I just like, I feel like that's not a good message. Like, if somebody cheats on you, I don't think that the intent matters. Like, they've cheated, whether they meant to hurt you or no, they have. And I just feel like that was never addressed and never really delved into. It was like a bit of a miss. And like, maybe a younger reader reading this would then think that that type of behaviour is acceptable, when it absolutely isn't. So I didn't really enjoy that element of it. I guess I didn't really like how smutty the book was as well, especially when they were younger. Now, they didn't have sex until they're 18. Like, fine, that's the age of consent. It's obviously 16 in the UK. However, like, being my age, probably wouldn't feel comfortable reading about 16-year-olds having sex. A wee bit noncy behaviour, I feel. But there was bits of this when they were younger that did make me feel a bit uncomfortable, and like, at times, like, I had to remind myself what I was reading was actually about kids. Like, no, I was that age once, like, I totally get it. Your hormones are raging, we're all doing stuff that we shouldn't, fine. But like, do I as a grown woman want to necessarily read that? Like, I feel like if they focused on them falling in love when they were younger, and then maybe a lot more of the smut was when they were older, it wouldn't have made me feel quite as uncomfortable as it did. But sometimes they were like firing into it, and I'm like, hold on, like, yous are 16, like, and yous are like at each other and are doing loads of other stuff, but just no, like, doing the act, and like, you're telling me how much like yous want each other, and I'm like, what? Like, it was just a bit awkward to read, I guess. But overall, I would rate it a 4-star. Like, I do have some issues with it, but reading it was an enjoyable experience for me, and I did really like the characters and their relationship, so I'd rate it a 4-star. I might reflect on it and it'll maybe go down to like a 3, we'll see. But at the minute I'm rating it a 4, and we'll see how we go. So, I haven't read any Beautiful World, Where Are You yet today, but I'm hoping to get this started. I was early this morning at work, so I'm going to make some dinner. I'm going to have a bath later and just chill with my book and hopefully get a wee bit of the way through this. So I'll either update you later today or tomorrow. Hi, so I have started Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I am about 134 pages in. I was listening to it this morning. I'm not enjoying it. So Alice as a main character is just a bit of a dick, to be honest. She has like quite a lot of opinions and quite a lot of feelings, and I don't think she always knows how to express them in the best way, and she's quite unlikable, to be honest, which I'm fine with as long as like I care about something, and I just didn't. I don't really care about Felix, who is the guy that she's currently going travelling with, and I think that there might be like a wee bit of romance between them, and I just don't care. Like, they went on a date, it didn't work, and then like they decided to be pals, and like now they're going travelling for one of her book tours, and like I think obviously like we're meant to think that they're getting closer, and so like if romance happens I think we're maybe meant to ship it, but I just don't, like I haven't seen any of that closeness build or develop over the time that they've spent together, so I just haven't really bought into it. And then like Simon, who's the childhood friend who I believe was going to be like the second chance romance guy in this, like I quite like him, but I just don't care, like I'm no bothered. And then also like it's single perspective, so we only get things from Alice's perspective, but then we get like big diatribes, big monologues, a text where it is Alice either sending Simon or her pal Eleanor emails and then them sending them back. Now it feels to me like Sally Rooney wanted to write a novel that had a lot of really interesting social commentary and try to like delve into politics and social issues a wee bit, which I am all for and I love, but she's done it in such a bizarre way because it's not like fed through the storyline, like there is no moral standing within the plot line of the book that, you know, we're supposed to take away. It's not like the characters are living a life and then learning something. It is just her emailing her pal being like, and this is what I think about politics, and this is what I think about rich people, and this is what I think about the working class, and then them like replying back being like, and this is what we think. And it's just bizarre, like it just really breaks up the book in a really weird way. Like I feel like that's maybe no helped me get connected to the characters, because if that wasn't happening then maybe like if the story was just progressing and it felt a wee bit more natural I'd be fine with it, but because we're getting it interspersed with these big diatribes of basically all her thoughts, feelings and opinions, and I'm a bit like, oh right. So no, it's not been a great start for me at all, to be honest. Really disappointing, but we'll see how we go. I'm not going to read any more tonight, so we'll catch up with these tomorrow once I have read a wee bit more. But I'm pretty disappointed. I was hoping that I was going to really enjoy this. I just think that Sally Rooney, like, she is a much better writer than how she's coming off in this book, and if she wanted to put her political opinions across she could have done it in a way that was done through her own voice, and it could have been done in a really nice and interesting way. But to just be like, boom, here's an opinion, boom, here's another yin, and then for that to have absolutely no consequence on our main characters or the storyline feels bizarre to me. But we'll see how we get on, I guess. Hello and welcome back to the end of an absolutely terrible vlog because I have filmed like no b-roll whatsoever because it has been such a busy week, but it is what it is. I've finished Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I'm here to chat about it and let you know my thoughts. So, in fact, our main character Alice is the one who's with Felix, and she isn't going back and forth and has never been with this Simon character. It is Eileen, her best friend, who said she had been emailing, who was with this Simon character. It's still sort of a second chance romance because Eileen and Simon had had a thing in the past, and then it's like, well, won't they get together, and then Alice and Felix had had a date that didn't work out, and then on this ship that they've been on they've started to grow a wee bit closer, so I guess that still 2 counts of second chance romance. I didn't get on with this book. It didn't really improve from where I last left you off, and a lot of my points about the writing still remained the same. I didn't care about the characters, I didn't care about their relationships, and I didn't find the book gripping enough, I don't think, and I was very disappointed. The whole email thing, it really just turned me off, and I just didn't like big pointless diatribes when it doesn't really directly affect the story and the author isn't pushing a social point or a social aspect to do anything different or interesting. So that was a bit of a bust for me. The only thing that I really took away from this book that I enjoyed is I feel like it actually talks a lot about power and the dynamic of power within relationships, and I thought that that was quite interesting. And that's power in all regards: power over emotions, power over money, power over social standing, power over sex. And I thought that that was quite interesting, and it made some cool points. And sort of Alice and Felix's relationship together is like the complete switch and direct opposite Eileen and Simon's, and so it was cool to see the differences between those relationships, I guess. But other than that, it was a bit of a bust. Quite disappointed. So in the end, I rated this a 2-star. Just wasn't the best. Wasn't the best at all. I don't know where I sit with Sally Rooney now. Let's compare the two books then. So Love and Other Words obviously got the higher rating for me. I did enjoy it, and I think I'll probably keep this at the 4-star, even though I had a lot of issues with the message that it was sending in regards to the main characters cheating. I think that I still enjoyed the story and I still enjoyed the characters a lot more, and they did have these really lovely, sweet, wee, tender moments that just helped me relate to them and buy into their relationship far more than in Beautiful World, Where Are You? So this was still the far better read. In terms of second chance romance, I do think I like that trope. My issues with this book weren't anything to do with that, and my issues with this one weren't really anything to do with that either. So I think that I can say that I do like that trope. Maybe this was just a bad book to trial for this vlog, considering I was already dubious about going into it, but it is what it is. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying everything that you are reading at the moment. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!